So lately we've been hearing from a lot of people who are new to vegetable gardening or just starting their first vegetable garden. And one of the questions they always ask is, what are the most important or what are the essential tools I need to grow a vegetable garden? So this got me thinking. Now, we use a lot of tools around here. We have several tools that are really specialized for a specific purpose. But what if I only had to pick 5? What if I had to pick 5 tools? That's all I could use. Could I get by with those in a year in the vegetable garden? So this took a little thought to narrow it down to 5. And these 5 are not necessarily the most used tools, but the ones I think that are most necessary and most essential. And these are not ranked in any particular order because they're all pretty important. And we're not including any motorized equipment here. These are all hand tools that I think everybody should have in their vegetable garden. So let's get started. Tool number 1 is a garden rake. Now most everybody has one of these, and if you don't, you should definitely have one. You could find these anywhere at your local big box store, local hardware store. They're all pretty much the same. This one here I repurposed and put a new handle on it. These things are really handy. We use them for a lot of stuff around the garden and homestead. We use them for raking out old crop debris, cleaning up areas that we're going to plant next. We use them for leveling out the soil, for maybe making some elevated beds for planting. We even use them for covering up seed when we hand plant stuff. These things right here come in really handy, and this is probably one of the most used tools around my garden, and I think everybody needs one of these hard garden rakes here. You've got the tines here that you can rake away stuff with, and then you've got the flat part here that you can level out soil with and make beds and stuff like that. So tool number 1 is the garden rake. Tool number 2 is a digging fork or a garden fork. Now you can find lots of variations of these out there on the market. The one we sell right here is tough as nails and comes with a 5-year warranty against any kind of breakage. But the digging fork is really essential for when you're growing root crops like potatoes or sweet potatoes or even some carrots that are kind of stubborn to get out of the ground. You need you a good reliable digging fork that you can put a lot of pressure on right here. You don't have to worry about it, bending, flexing, or breaking. These things also come in handy if you're incorporating some compost into a small area, maybe like a little raised bed or just a small garden area. You can go in there, put some compost down, and use this to turn over the soil and kind of incorporate that compost. I like the kind with the D-shaped handle here. You'll find some with a T handle on them. This one here also has a foot pad there to give you a little extra leverage when pushing it down in the soil. So for aerating the soil, digging up potatoes and sweet potatoes, you gotta have you a garden fork or a digging fork like this. So this is number 2 on our list. Number 3 on our list is a compost shovel. And this is one of those tools that just can't be replaced around the garden. You can't scoop up compost with that garden rake, and you can't scoop up compost with that digging fork. So you need you a nice big shovel here. Now your compost shovels are gonna have a bigger scoop on them than a standard square head shovel. They're also gonna tend to be a little bit shorter with the handle there. And you'll see these in 2 different styles. You'll see these with the aluminum scoop, and then we also sell one with a polymer scoop. Now my compost is sitting on a concrete slab. So I really like the aluminum scoop because it allows me to scrape along that concrete and get all that compost up. If your compost is sitting on, the dirt, then you might want to go with the polymer scoop. It tends to float along the grass a little better than the aluminum scoop does. So the compost shovel here can't be beat as far as scooping up compost, putting it in the wheelbarrow, and then applying it to the garden. The nice big scoop helps out, saves you some time, saves you some energy. So number 3 is the compost shovel. Number 4 on the list is a long handle garden hoe. Now this is the one I did the most debating about because I had to pick just one to use here. I've got a lot of long handle tools that I really like. I like the single tine cultivator for really close weeding. I like my 3-tine long handle hoe as well. But if I only had to pick one, I would choose this batwing hoe here. And this guy lets me, skim the surface and get those real small weeds without disturbing too much soil. It also, on the edge of the garden, is strong enough to get up those real big, thick weeds. And then it also allows me to pull up dirt on plants if I want to. So if I want to heel potatoes, or maybe pull a little dirt up on my corn plants, I've got a wide enough blade here, I can do that as well. So there's a lot of options out there for long handle garden hose. But if I had to pick just one, I would choose this one right here. The long handle garden hose, definitely something you need. You'll use this guy over and over and over again. So that's number 4 on the list, the long handle garden hoe. And last but not least on our list, coming in at number 5, is the single wheel hoe here. Now I chose the single wheel hoe because it allows me to get in really narrow and really tight row spacings like I tend to have in my fall and winter garden with stuff like lettuce, beets, broccoli, kohlrabi, things like that. Now with the double wheel hoe and the high arch wheel hoe, I can certainly do more things like lay drip tape or straddle rows, all kind of neat stuff there. But if I only had to pick one wheel hoe, I would pick the single wheel hoe here. And this thing's going to allow me to get in those tight spaces, cultivate, keep those weeds down, keep that soil nice and workable. And this would be my go-to wheel hoe if I only had to pick one. So if you're new to vegetable garden or just getting started, I hope that helps you out and gives you an idea of kind of what the most essential or most needed tools around the farm and garden are. Like I said, those are not the only 5 we use, but if we had to just pick 5 that we think we could get by with just those 5, it would be those. And just to recap, we've got our garden rake, we've got our garden fork or our digging fork, our compost shovel, a long handle hoe, and then our single wheel hoe here. And if you're not new to vegetable gardening and you've been doing it a while, I'd be really interested to hear what you think the 5 most essential garden tools are. So in the comment section below, put what your top 5 would be. Maybe you have some that you would take out of my list and some that you would add to my list. So I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on that. And the bottom line here is having the right tools for the job will go a long way to helping you grow clean, healthy, delicious food for you and your family. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you next time.